sides, we saw both Democrats and Republicans vocalizing their frustration and their disappointment in RFK Jr. And we heard from both sides people saying that he should step down and resign. So it was a very long hearing yesterday, again 3 hours, and a lot of clashing back and forth between several senators. I know we were highlighting kind of some of Bernie Sanders' moments with RFK earlier this morning on Wake Up. So yeah, it was a lot. I mean, we heard him talk about the ousted CDC director. We heard him talk about the changes to the COVID-19 vaccine and who's eligible and how to get it and boosters. So there was a lot of information there out of that hearing. But let's bring it back here to the Wisconsin Live Desk before we take a little trip to New York, because why not? Why not take a little trip to the East Coast there? Sun is shining. Look at all those skyscrapers. It looks like a little less windy than it was in DC, but we can certainly still see that flag moving. Maybe you're going to go on a trip to New York soon. I know earlier in the week I was talking here on the Wisconsin Live Desk about my trip to New York, which is less than a month away now, to go see Hamilton, which I'm very excited for because the original Aaron Burr is coming back for a limited time. Leslie Odom Jr. is going to be back on Broadway, and I can't wait to get to go and see that. But of course, maybe you guys are flying somewhere this weekend. So let's take a live look at, of course, the Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. Sometimes we get lucky and we get to see planes either land or take off. Obviously, right now the runway's a little quiet, but it's always nice if you're going on a little weekend getaway or just taking an early fall vacation. I will be hitting the roads to Chicago this weekend, not taken to the skies. I'm going to actually go see the Cubs play tomorrow, which I won't talk about too much because I know a lot of you guys here are Brew Crew, which I totally get, but that'll be really fun for me. Delaney, do you have any weekend plans?
Sunday's my dad's birthday, so we're going to do a family dinner, but that's the only thing I have planned for now.
Okay, well, I love that. First of all, Sunday is September 7th, which is my brother's birthday. So look at our family members being birthday twins, Delaney.
Is it really?
It really is. My brother will turn 35 on Sunday. Wow, I love that. Do you know how old your dad's turning?
I do not.
I was like, honestly, you guys, maybe I shouldn't ask Delaney. I don't want to call her out. But at least you knew it was your dad's birthday, and I'm sure you got him something nice. If your dad's like my dad always says he just wants peace and quiet. He's actually very hard to shop for. He would enjoy going to a Cubs game like I'm doing tomorrow. And then Sunday, I actually have a bridal shower to go to as well. My friend Lizzie is getting married. So there is a lot going on here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and for my weekend and for Delaney's weekend. And Delaney's homework is to find out how old her dad is turning, and she will report back to us, whether that be today or on Monday. We will get you guys that answer. We are going to take a really quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and then we'll be back with more news, and we'll see what we can find here on the grid. So stick with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley. I'll be spending the next 2 hours with you guys. I'm here until 2:30 on this Friday, which just thank goodness we made it. It feels like an accomplishment every Friday, like we made it through a work week. So I hope you guys feel accomplished, and I hope that you guys have some exciting weekend plans the way Delaney and I do. Something that potentially could be on your docket this weekend. Maybe you're heading to Green Bay. Maybe you're going to go to the Packers home opener, season opener, because football is back, you guys. Taking a live look here at Lambeau, where, looks like there's something going on there, even though the big event is Sunday, of course, when the Packers take on the Lions. That game is at 3:25 p.m. If you are heading to Lambeau, by no means is it going to be as cold as some of those games coming in like November and December and January, but it is a little chilly. I would definitely make sure you have a sweatshirt or some form of a jacket with you. Obviously, we saw the official NFL season kickoff last night. We had the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And let me tell you, that game started off in a dramatic fashion. I think I know the answer, but let's just check, you guys. Delaney, did you watch the game last night?
I did not.
Yep, that's what I thought. So I watched the first half, and then I had to go to bed, which I'm glad I made that choice because there was a rain delay, so there's no way I could have stayed up for it. But within the first 6 seconds, we saw a Philadelphia Eagle get hurt and carted off the field, and we saw another Eagles player spit at the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, and get immediately ejected. Again, this was all within 6 seconds of the game, so the season really just starting off in a dramatic fashion for you there. The Eagles, they did win, beating the Cowboys 24-20, which was a lot closer than people were expecting. People really thought the Eagles were going to run away with it, and by no means did they do that. I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans were getting a little nervous at moments when it's that kind of a nail-biter finish, and of course, no one likes a rain delay. The entire stadium had to be evacuated as there was a severe thunderstorm in the area. You could see some of the lightning in the background. Thankfully, they were able to get back on the field, finish out the game. And again, the Philadelphia Eagles taking the first game of the 2025-2026 NFL season. You don't have to wait till Sunday to see your next game. Actually, that one is happening tonight. We have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil. They'll be in Sao Paulo. This is something they started, I want to say, last season. We've really seen in the last couple of years the NFL expand outside of the United States. Obviously, here, football is a really big deal. Football in other countries would be soccer, but American football, they've been really trying to expand that fan base, and we've seen the London series take off, and then they introduced this Brazil series last year, and people really seem to love it. So yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, or a Chargers fan, or just a football fan, you can catch that game tonight. I'm not a Chiefs fan, even though my shirt color would maybe indicate that. But I know a lot of people have become Travis Kelce fans, obviously a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, especially with his engagement now to Taylor Swift, which is still so wild to me that they are engaged. Obviously, I feel like we've seen both of them have some pretty public relationships. People don't remember this, but Travis had a full-on dating show that revolved around him. Taylor's been in several high-profile relationships, and so the fact that not only did these two start dating, which blew my mind to begin with, because Travis on his podcast, New Heights, just kind of shouted out his interest to Taylor Swift. Very disappointed that he did not get to meet Taylor. He went to the Eras tour when it was at Arrowhead and said, hey, I wanted to meet you. I wanted to give you my number. Taylor said, you know what? That's actually kind of romantic. They not only started dating, but now 2 years on, they are engaged. And a lot of people are talking about this wedding. I have so many questions. Where is it going to be? Are they going to go huge and invite like all of their A-list friends, or are they going to keep it really intimate? When is it going to be? Who is going to design her dress? Are there going to be multiple dresses? Is she going to perform at the wedding? I don't know. We're going to really be keeping our eye on all these plans. But there is somebody who wants to perform at her wedding. Take a look at this. This is from Foreigner. They post this on their Instagram. It says, Dear Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, we know what love is. We spent 40 years figuring it out, and now you guys have too. Please accept this as our formal offer to be your wedding band. Best wishes, Foreigner. I feel like everybody is taking this as their chance to get a little publicity. I mean, is it a free wedding band offer? Because, well, who am I kidding? Both of them could pay for anyone they wanted at their wedding, which begs the question, if you could have somebody perform at your wedding, who would you want it to be, right? I mean, I want to know what love is. That's the Foreigner song, which I didn't know that was their song until I learned it with Kim Murphy this morning. That's a good option. I think for my wedding, if I could have like anyone perform, I think I would go, I'm going to name a couple. Ellie Goulding, love her. The Jonas Brothers, because I love them. Maybe Katy Perry. And then Ben Rector, who's a smaller artist, but he has some really, or Ed Sheeran. Taylor and Ed are best friends. Ed has some of the most romantic songs. I feel like everybody for a while was having their first dance to like Thinking Out Loud. Why not have your BFF Ed Sheeran sing it for you at your wedding? Delaney, if you were to get married, who would you want as your wedding singer?
I don't really know. I feel like Ed Sheeran would be a good one. Maybe Harry Styles.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I also like John Mayer, so maybe bringing him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like bring them all in, have a huge concert for your friends. Why just have Harry Styles when you can have all of One Direction? Like, let's reunite them. Obviously, sadly, we can't have Liam, but I would happily take like Harry and Niall and Louis, and I guess Zayn. I was always kind of bitter, Delaney, at Zayn because he left One Direction, but his vocals are beautiful. So if it's my wedding, come on out. Obviously, though, we are running up quite the expensive tab thinking of all these wedding singers. I don't think I could afford any of them, which is why we should probably play the Powerball jackpot, right? It is now worth $1.8 billion. I can't even fathom that much money. I know you're going to pay taxes on it, but you are still walking away with what, like half of that, 900 million? That's crazy. Your next chance to win the Powerball is tomorrow. A reminder, it's $2 to pay. You do have to pay in cash. But yeah, that drawing tomorrow will be 9:59 p.m. If no one walks away the winner, one, the jackpot's going to grow yet again, and then your next drawing would be held Monday. The odds of winning, they are pretty slim. You are having a chance of 1 in 292,201,338. So, I mean, it's a small chance, but, you know, our weather expert, Lisa Michaels, was telling me the other day, if you don't play, your chance is 0. So go out, get a ticket, maybe split it with some of your coworkers, and have a good time. I would also say one thing that I would do if I had that much money is no longer feel bad about my occasional Starbucks run. I love Starbucks. I would happily go get a drink every single day. Delaney and I both love the pumpkin cream chai. We had that one yesterday. I have a PSL today, but sometimes it's like, you know, you can only have it like once a week because we're not made of money unless we won the Powerball. But if you're wanting to have a little bit something extra in your coffee, stay tuned. Later this month, this is starting September 29th, Starbucks is going to brew up protein drinks. I think this is genius because so many people are always, you know, monitoring how much protein they're taking in. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'm not going to get coffee because I'm going to go get my protein shake. But now Starbucks can get those customers too and make it a coffee that has protein in it. So they're going to be offering both protein lattes and protein cold foam. Gosh, cold foam really has taken off in the last few years. I like to top so many of my drinks with a little bit of cold foam. And by doing this, you can add between 15 to 36 grams of protein to your diet. Gosh, I mean, all these drinks look good. Obviously, it's a matcha there on the left. Looks just like a normal latte in the middle. And then the right, maybe it's like a chocolate cold brew with some cold foam on it. Delaney, would you get a protein coffee?
Yeah, I'd try the protein coffee. I think it'd be kind of good.
I think that it would be really good too. And I mean, coffee already like really helps you if you're hungry. I feel like a coffee can help you, be content for a few more hours. And I think by adding protein to it, you're just going to be even a little bit more full, which is always nice when you're on the go and you're in a rush and you don't have like a ton of time to always eat a meal. I mean, I love the idea of just a little protein coffee. Let's do it. That's great. Also great. We have very exciting announcement. I was really sad, so I anchored Wake Up today with Ted Perry and with Kim Murphy and our producer Brooke, who I love. We tend to watch a lot of the same shows, so Brooke and I are constantly chatting about what we're watching on Netflix and Amazon Prime. But I really felt like she let me down today because she let Ted and Kim read the next story that I'm going to tell you about, and I just felt like it really screamed Haley. So I had Delaney put it in for the Wisconsin Live Desk because I know you guys are going to be interested in this, okay? 3, 2, 1. High School Musical. You guys, you can go tomorrow. This is the free Falls Family Movie Night at Village Park at dusk tomorrow, so 6 p.m. They are showing High School Musical. I'm so excited for this. And a lot of exciting things. I mean, you can expect live music. There's a beer and wine garden, so if parents are thinking, I don't want to go to that, now you do. They'll also have food trucks, popcorn, lawn games. They're even giving out t-shirts to the first 150 kids. But I love High School Musical. I'm trying to think. I must have been in like 2nd or 3rd grade when this movie came out. And since then, I've been a nanny who always introduces the kids to High School Musical. But I mean, between High School Musical 2, and High School Musical 3 senior year, what a good series of movies. I'm going to assume Delaney's a fan, but let's double check. Delaney, did you grow up loving High School Musical?
Yeah, I loved High School Musical.
I know. Do you have a favorite of the 3 movies?
I really like the second one.
Completely agree. Completely agree. So maybe we can convince the Free Falls Family Movie Night at Village Park to air the sequel at some point because, I mean, I would probably, Delaney, let's see if you agree. I would rank it, High School Musical 2 is the best one. Then I would give it to High School Musical. Then I would probably give it to High School Musical 3 senior year. Is that your ranking?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I just think of like High School Musical 2, Bet on It, Gotta Go My Own Way. You Are the Music, and like so many good songs. Favorite character, Delaney?
I loved Sharpay.
Oh my gosh. This is why Delaney and I are friends, you guys. I love Sharpay. She's supposed to be the villain in the movie series. I do not agree with that at all. I think Sharpay Evans was misunderstood. I think she was a theater girl whose theater department kind of got taken over by this, transfer student and this basketball player, and she just wanted to like maintain the integrity of the theater department. That's probably a stretch. But I just loved Ashley Tisdale, and I love High School Musical, and if I didn't have plans tomorrow, I would be at this movie night, because I just think also like being at a movie night when it's not too hot, it's the fall temperatures, bundled up in your sweatshirt and a blanket, it's going to be delightful. Which, speaking of delightful, take a look. Right now it's City Center, live look this Friday. Now we're in the afternoon. I almost said morning, but we are approaching 1 p.m., so it is certainly the afternoon now. But I mean, it's maybe cold for some, but for others, I think it's the ideal weather. You've got a sunshine, you've got some, well, not some, the flags are really moving. It is breezy out there. You might feel like you're going to get blown away, but it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. Delaney, what's that from? Do you know the quote? She wasn't paying attention to us, you guys. Miss Congeniality. If you were if you were waiting to answer here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, that is what Miss Rhode Island answers her interview question is. She says, my perfect date would be April 28th, maybe, because she said it's not too hot, it's not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. Well, again, it is so beautiful here in the Milwaukee area. Hopefully it's beautiful wherever you are tuning in from. It has been a little bit of a slow start as far as our feeds go here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but we are monitoring all the national news, and if anything breaks or happens, we will let you know. We do have a lot coming up, though, still on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are going to be joined by our very own Jason Calvi. He's going to talk to us a little bit about street takeovers, which have been happening here in Milwaukee. We saw several happen last weekend, and the mayor and the police chief here in Milwaukee both really wanting to crack down, sharing their ideas on how to get that to end. We're also going to hear from, actually, I think Brett Lemoyne is doing that story. But Brett will be joining us as well, as I just mentioned, to talk about that. And we're going to talk to Tosa Fest, which is going to be kicking off tonight. It's kicking off, I think, at 5, going to 11. And then tomorrow you can head to Tosa Fest from 11 to 11. Obviously, that's in Wauwatosa. And I feel like it's always a fun time, but this year especially, what a way to celebrate like a town recovering from some of the major flooding we saw last month and still being able to put this event on. And we're seeing some businesses reopen just in time for Tosa Fest, so we'll get you everything you need to know there. And we're also going to talk to Wildflowers on Water, another event happening here on the Lakeshore tomorrow. So we've got a lot coming up for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk that you're going to want to stay tuned for. But for now, we're just going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back shortly.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. Happy Friday. We are approaching 1 p.m., which hopefully means that you're almost done with your work day. Or if you're not, I mean, you're watching us, so at least you're having a good time. We'll be here until 2:30, bringing you the latest news, whether that be here locally, here across Wisconsin, the country, internationally. We've got our eyes on a lot of different stories, but let's start with one that's local. Maybe you're looking right now at your calendar this weekend thinking, I need something to do. We can certainly help you out with that. Why not attend Wildflowers on the Water? This is happening tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. And joining us right now to tell us all about it, we have Sarah and David. Thanks so much for stopping in on the Wisconsin Live Desk, guys.
Thanks for having us, Haley. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you, Haley.
Of course. We're so excited to learn more about this. I mean, for starters, just tell our viewers, what is Wildflowers on the Water and what can they expect tomorrow?
So this is the third year we're doing Wildflowers on the Water, and it's at Lakeshore State Park on the north end of it, which is right behind Summerfest grounds and next to Discovery World. So we have lots of great things planned for you. This event is really meant to uplift the mission of Friends of Lakeshore State Park through my organization called Sincerely in Song. And we bring a host of local musicians and one out-of-market musician that's coming in from Atlanta called Sitar Nick and his band Shakti. We'll also have community drumming by Angie Mack of Ozaki Talent, interactive art and programming where people can do a take and make canvas art inspired by a wildflower scene at the park, sound bowl healing, food trucks, and a bunch more activities. And we're really excited for your viewers to learn about wildflowers on the water, and we hope that they'll join us. And Dave is the president of Lakeshore State Park, so he's here with me and has been helping plan this event. So Dave, if you'd like to tell them a little bit about the park, that would be great.
Sure. Thanks for this opportunity. And I'm actually the past president, still very highly engaged with Sarah and other community partners to make Lakeshore State Park accessible for everyone, to connect people with nature and certainly with art and education. So we've got several community partners that will be there as well, like Milwaukee Riverkeeper, MMSD, All Hands Boatworks, Sturgeon Protectors. They'll be tabling there to educate and connect with the public about all the good work that the nonprofits do here. So the Friends will also have a table there. Please stop by, and we will be there to tell everybody all the good work that the Friends do here. We support the park. We partner through the DNR and other organizations to really make this park accessible. It's a beautiful park, as most people know, but some people don't know that it is. It's the only urban state park, and it's on the lakefront across from the Summerfest grounds across that lagoon. So, third annual Wildflowers, and we really look forward very much to another event this year.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are in luck with the weather. I mean, I love the fall temperatures that are going to be out tomorrow. I hope other people feel the same way. But I know you mentioned it's your third annual Wildflowers on the Water. I'm curious for both of you, do you have kind of a favorite part of the event you're really looking forward to again this year?
It's hard to really pinpoint. For me, though, as a musician, I'm always about live music, but I love art too. And we do have a very special guest with the Mounted Patrol. They bring their horse to be able to meet the audience. So to pinpoint it to just one thing is a bit hard. But this year for music, we have DJ Marcus Doucette doing some global sounds. We have Jack Tell, who will be playing fingerstyle guitar in the wild, as I like to say. He'll be near one of the prairies. Malik Johnson will be playing a beautiful set of cello music. And then I'll be performing with the band The Wildflowers. Angie Mack will be doing a set, Milwaukee's Own Classic, and Sitar Nick and Shakti coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. So we're excited to give them a warm Milwaukee welcome. So music to me is probably the heartbeat, but also just being in nature and enjoying our great state park is one of the highlights for me.
Yeah, I agree. And the venue is beautiful. I mean, the musicians will be very close to the lakefront, so the seating area will be overlooking the lake. And then there's also, of course, the skyline of Milwaukee in the background, so looking that way. So there's just an amazing venue, and we're very fortunate here in Milwaukee to have this.
Yeah, we're taking a look right now at some of the photos you guys sent me, and it looks just stunning as you talk about the nature and kind of the skyline and the water. I mean, what a beautiful way to go out and to spend your Saturday there. Sarah, I want to talk to you a little bit more about Sincerely in Song, because I know you founded this. You do something really cool with pairing each song with a nonprofit cause. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So Sincerely in Song is focused on building music partnerships for humanity. And as you mentioned, every song that I release, I pair with a cause. That's actually how Wildflowers on the Water became to be. I wrote a beautiful song called Wildflowers and happened to meet Dave, and they were looking to activate Lakeshore State Park. And we created this beautiful vision for an event that could be free and open to the community. And every song that is released is paired with a different nonprofit cause. So I have one of my most recent releases is called Mustang, and that particular record I just released a music video for, and it's paired with uplifting our veterans and the mission of Center for Veterans Issues. So as a musician and as a nonprofit professional and as a community member, and really since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to use my voice in a way that was helping humanity. The vision for Sincerely in Song is to scale that. So it will be me also working with up to 6 musicians a year, and 2 of them would come from out of market. So we can expose other talent from across the country and across the globe to our great city and align them with a nonprofit that has a footprint here. So it's all about using our voice, using our music, helping artists authentically align with causes that are meaningful to them and to really help our community in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like sometimes people maybe are like, oh, I want to go to that, but is parking going to be a nightmare? So I'm curious, do you guys have any parking tips for us?
We
We
do.
do, actually, and our great partners and friends over at Milwaukee World Fest have been kind enough to open Summerfest Lot M, which is a short walk to the park. So that will be free and open. There will be no fee for people to pay to park. So it's limited access, first come, first serve. There's also street parking throughout, and there's parking at Discovery World. And on the south end of the park, there is parking there as well. So that, I believe, Dave, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's off of Erie Street. If you
Right.
look for the big lighthouse and go kind of behind,
Yeah. If
head
people
towards
put in their
Beamer.
GPS, if you put in Milwaukee Pierhead Lighthouse in your GPS, that'll take you right there. But that Lot M is quite large, and we're very grateful to Summerfest Milwaukee World Festival for their generous support there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great news there for our viewers who are hopefully heading out there tomorrow. Okay, I got to learn just a little bit more about this community drumming circle. What a fun, unique opportunity. Tell me the details there.
So we have Angie Mack with Ozaki Talent. She's wearing a couple of hats for the event. She'll also be doing a solo set, but she's kindly for the last 3 years come and provided a host of different percussion instruments and sets them up right in the park towards the entrance on the north end and engages with anybody who wants to sit down and play the drums and play some percussion instruments and really engage to create on the fly, on the spot, and express themselves. And she's done a wonderful job, and we're grateful that she's bringing that energy to engage and make it interactive, because music is really meant to be for everybody, for all ages, and as we like to say, dreams never expire. So you may just want to come pick up a drum because you've done it in the past when you were a teenager, or maybe you've never played a drum in the past at all, but it's a great way to engage and to enjoy the park and to make some beautiful sounds through percussion elements.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no skill set required there to participate in the drumming circle. Come as you are and have a fun time. I mean, my goodness, I really think there's something for everyone, whether you love music, whether you love being outdoors, horses, drumming. It looks like art is there. Are there local vendors as well? Was that what I was reading about?
Yes, we will have Honey Petal Farms and Tabitha, who's been with us the last 3 years as well. So she has some wonderful dried flower art. She may have some fresh blooms for us as well. And she's really done a great job at bringing some flower energy, and of course, Wisconsin grown and women owned. So we always love to uplift our Wisconsin businesses. So we're looking forward to having her. And then, as Dave mentioned before, we have a host of community partners that will be there to talk about their mission. We also have a really delicious food truck, which, Dave, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I think it's Cafe Lucina, and Lupe she's wonderful. She's a great partner. They've been coming out for the past couple years. Delicious food, so there will be a food truck there. We will have, thanks to Stone Creek Coffee, we'll have coffee and tea, right, Sarah? So we'll have
Yes.
that on site as well, and that's free. Donations appreciated, of course, but yeah, so beverages will be there available, and it's non-alcoholic. I think you probably already mentioned that.
Yeah, so Stone Creek Coffee, Canned Water for Kids is donating water, and then Rishi Tea is kindly donating some sparkling tea botanicals. And then, of course, our food truck, Lupe and Cochina Filipina, will have a chance to, you'll have a chance to enjoy the great, delicious food that they bring to our events. The other thing I'd like to mention is we do work with our partners at Rock the Green and Compost Crusaders to really make sure that we're being environmentally aware and friendly and making this a zero waste event. So we have compostable servingware, and also work to eliminate bringing plastic bottles in through canned water and having some water stations, and really trying to be sure that as we're in a beautiful part of nature, that we're doing our part to make this a sustainable and a mission-centric music gathering as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also, I feel like we kind of buried the lead there, guys. Free coffee and tea. That would get anybody out there. No, this sounds like an absolute blast, you guys. I know you're in your third year. I guess final question here. One, I mean, goals for the future, as well as what do you hope people just really take away from tomorrow?
Yeah, well, we really hope to uplift the mission of Friends of Lakeshore State Park and get more awareness about Sincerely in Song, building music partnerships for humanity. And, ideally everybody has a wonderful time. They have their little take and make canvas and they can hang it on their wall and remember us throughout the year and plan to come back for the 4th annual. We do have dreams and aspirations to keep growing this. And, maybe one day it'll just creep into the Summerfest grounds and we'll have lots of stages and make it free and open to the public. But that's sort of the big ideal dream, is to keep growing it and to keep bringing in more talent and to bring an opportunity to be a free and open to the public event for folks to enjoy the park and our great lakefront.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you wanted to add there, David?
No, I think she has summarized it very well. She caught everything there.
Perfect.
Nicely done. Thank you.
Yeah, so Wildflowers on the Water. Again, this is happening tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. Sounds like a blast. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk today.
Thanks for having us, Haley. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your Friday. And now you guys have one more thing you can add to your schedule this weekend. Go out to Wildflowers on the Water. That should be so nice. And again, it's an outdoor event and it's beautiful weather when you're going to be outside for like long periods of time. The one thing you don't want to be doing is sweating. And you are going to have a high of 64 tomorrow. So I think that is perfect to be out in nature, on the water, taking in music, grabbing a bite to eat, some coffee, shopping from local vendors. So much to do. Making art, drumming on a little circle. I really feel like that drumming circle could be so fun. And if your kids love horses, I mean, my goodness, we just learned so much about that event, and it really seems like they have everything and anything for you guys there tomorrow. So that is really exciting. We are still monitoring some other stories here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to take a quick break, but then we'll be back with more in just a little bit. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday afternoon here at 1:15. We were just hearing about a great event happening tomorrow on the lakeshore, wildflowers on the water. If you are looking for plans tonight, or maybe you want to do something after or before that, coming up at 2, we're also going to be learning more about Tosa Fest. Obviously, it's out of Wauwatosa, and it's, I think, just extra exciting this year to get to celebrate Wauwatosa and really the resilience of that community who dealt with so much flooding and damage from that floodwater. And I think it would have been really easy just to cancel Tosa Fest, but instead they worked around the clock. Some businesses are reopening. That is happening, and it starts tonight at 5, goes until 11 p.m. And it's again tomorrow from 11 to 11. So again, stick with us. That's coming up at 2. We are expecting to also talk with our very own Brett Lemoyne and Jason Calvi on their stories today, which has to do with Milwaukee police contracts and some protests we saw this morning, as well as hearing from the latest with the mayor and the police chief out of Milwaukee as far as those street takeovers and what they want to see happen and how they plan on minimizing and really, discouraging those street takeovers from continuing to happen. So we've got a lot of stories that we are working on. Something else that we're working on is out of Sheboygan. Our very own Ashley Sears is there. There's a disturbance involving a gun with 3 hurt, including a young child. So kind of the brief of what we know in this situation, Sheboygan police say 1 person is in custody. Again, this is after what they're calling a critical incident involving a gun at a business today. Investigators say 3 people, including a young child, were hurt in this incident. And officers, they did shut down traffic on S Business Drive from Washington Avenue to Wilson Avenue during the investigation. We potentially might be hearing from law enforcement out of Sheboygan pretty soon about this critical incident, and when or if that happens, of course, we'll bring that to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We do want to just take you outside, though. I'm taking a look right here at the roads in Milwaukee, in the Milwaukee area. Right now, things are looking, pretty nice. It's 1:17, not usually the time you would expect a ton of delays or traffic. Certainly most people are at work or at home or at school now, usually where they need to be by the afternoon hours. But we did want to just kind of alert you to something to have on your radar, which is the Mitchell Interchange Improvement Project. So yeah, the state of Wisconsin is actually spending millions of dollars to improve the Mitchell Interchange. You can see right there, $31.2 million. Governor Evers approved this project, which will run through I-41, I-94, I-43, and I-894. It's also going to include some bridge maintenance and pavement resurfacing. So when it's all said and done, it's going to be very nice. It's scheduled to be done next fall, but with anything, construction can cause some delays. We just want to get it on your radar in the meantime. This does start on Monday, but certainly should be very nice when that is all said and done. Something else that we are monitoring that I want to take you out to is we're waiting for a hearing, and this is in the story of a customer who's accused of smashing a Milwaukee DoorDash driver's car after a failed food delivery. This is an intake hearing, I believe, that we're expecting, and when this starts, we will certainly also bring that to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But yeah, right now, the feeds besides that, we don't have a ton going on. I can take you back out, though, to Lambeau. I feel like if there's one thing Wisconsin loves, it's the Packers. It's football. So why not show Lambeau again as we get ready, of course, for their first game of the season, taking on the Detroit Lions. Why not start with a little rivalry and in-conference rivals there. Delaney, you born and raised in Wisconsin. I'm assuming you're a Packers fan?
I am.
Yeah. I feel like it's easier to be a Packers fan than it is to be a Bears fan, which unfortunately is what I am. But I'm not like a super big Bears fan. I feel like I understand football and I like football, and I'll claim to be a Bears fan, but I don't follow it super closely. But I know that it's certainly not the case for a lot of Packers fans. They are very excited for game day. Of course, again, this one's happening on Sunday at 3:25 p.m. Lions and Packers at Lambeau. Your high on Sunday, was in the 60s. I want to say it was 64. I'm going to be honest, the weather experts have taken that graphic away from me, so I don't know off the top of my head, but it's going to be a little chilly. You are going to certainly want a jacket, have that on hand for you if you're heading out to Lambeau, or I mean, maybe you're just heading to your favorite local bar or pub and going to enjoy it from the comfort of your home or something like that as well. But yeah, a lot of football fans happy that that season officially kicked off last night with the Eagles winning against the Dallas Cowboys. Close game though, 24-20. And again, we have another game tonight out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, where we will see the Chargers take on the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like it's always the Chiefs and the Eagles as of late. The Kelsey brothers. I mean, Jason Kelsey doesn't play anymore, but their two teams have very much dominated the headlines in recent years. I do think we're working on a few different things. We might have something to bring to you. So I am really quickly going to just hop in a break, and we'll be back in 2 minutes with some more news for you. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. This Friday, time check for you is 1:23, and I do actually rather quickly want to get us out to Minneapolis. So we are right now hearing from a shooting, if you remember the Annunciation School shooting a couple of weeks ago, one of the survivors, her name is Sophia Forchas, and her father, as well as her neurosurgeon right now, are giving an update on her condition. So we want to go ahead and listen into this, and we will find out how she's doing.
To the pediatric critical care team and all the staff in the pediatric ICU, thank you. Your dedication and attention to detail are why HCMC stands as a premier level 1 trauma center. Your care has been a lifeline for our family. The final individual I want to thank is my wife. She is the most kind-hearted, selfless, and caring human being I have ever known. Her strength is unmatched. She is my superhero. She has not left Sophia's side. She's monitoring every medication, every drip, every vital sign, and every detail involved in caring for the most critical patients, our daughter. She is truly the best mother I know. It is an honor to be her husband, and I am blessed to call her my wife. Sophia has received prayers from across the globe. It is nothing short of miraculous to know that millions of people have lifted her name in hundreds of millions of prayers. We've heard of prayers from Oslo to Johannesburg, from Sydney to Santiago, from Vietnam to Canada, from Mount Athos, Greece to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you, thank you, thank you for each and every one of those prayers. Thank you to the clergy from the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church who have led prayers around the world. Your spiritual support has carried us through the darkest days. The Fortress family extends its deepest sympathies and condolences to the Merkel and Moisky families. When I spoke to my 9-year-old son about his schoolmates who were murdered, he had these kind words to say about Harper and Fletcher. Harper is the most kind, and she's just a really nice girl. She had so many friends and is never mean to anyone. And when I told him about Fletcher, he said, Fletcher? Oh no. He is so good at everything he does. He's friends with everyone, and he is such a good friend to all of us. May the memories of Harper Moisky and Fletcher Merkel be eternal. I want to end by imploring the world, continue to pray. Continue to pray for Sophia. Pray for peace. Pray with vigor. We need you to keep the fervor with which you are praying. And when you pray, move your feet. Moving your feet means one step at a time. It means volunteering your time. It means donating blood. It means listening to someone who's hurting. It means asking yourself, what would Jesus want me to do? And if you don't know Jesus, learn to follow him. His path will lead you back to prayer. Thank you to everyone who has helped us through this nightmare. Your courage, your compassion, and your love have carried us. Sophia is strong. Sophia is fighting. And Sophia is going to win this fight for all of humanity.
So I'm now inviting Dr. Galicic to answer questions.
She's purposeful, so there's some level of awareness, but not following commands yet. But she appears to be aware of some of her surroundings.
Now, at what point will you be able to
If you're just joining us, we have been listening in out of this press conference happening in Minnesota, hearing from, we were just hearing from the father, now it is the neurosurgeon of one of the survivors of the Annunciation school shooting back in Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago. We were hearing about Sophia Fortress, who thankfully is doing well. It sounds like she's aware and alert of her surroundings. The family right there so grateful for all of the prayers that they have received for their daughter, as well as expressing their condolences to the two victims of this school shooting, 10-year-old Harper and 8-year-old Fletcher. We were hearing there from one of their classmates memories of those two, just a lot of kind words and a lot of fond memories of those two victims. Again, it's the best possible kind of update coming out of this survivor's story, that she's doing all right and that she's going to make it, but obviously just a devastating situation out of Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago with that Annunciation school shooting. Well, we are expecting actually in a few minutes to get an update on a situation here out of Milwaukee as far as the street takeovers go. Last weekend we saw several street takeovers, including, donuts in the streets, fireworks going off, even fire in the streets. So the police chief and the Milwaukee mayor both speaking out on that today on how they want to see them end. And our very own Brett Lemoyne has been working hard on the story, and he'll join us in 2 minutes when we get back on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday afternoon. It's been a long work week. You made it. Congratulations. Time check for you. It is 1:32 and it is 61 degrees out in Milwaukee. It is a little chilly, but it's just kind of feeling like fall. Speaking of Milwaukee, it was a very busy morning. One thing in particular, we heard from the police chief as well as Mayor Cavalier Johnson about those street takeovers. We actually have our very own Brett Lemoyne joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Brett, what did we learn this morning? I know we heard again from the mayor as well as the police chief.
Well, Haley, city leaders really reiterated what they've been saying all week in the aftermath of these street takeovers that have dominated social media. You've no doubt seen them if you're watching at home. Just last weekend alone, there were nearly 20 street takeovers in the city of Milwaukee. 3 arrests were made, 4 citations issued, and 6 vehicles towed. The mayor says enough is enough. He is calling on the Common Council to adopt a policy and ordinance that he had supported back in June, which is to fine not only the people that are involved in the street takeovers, driving their cars in donuts, setting fires, setting off fireworks, but also to fine the spectators as well. In a lot of these videos, we've seen hundreds of people gathered around these intersections. The mayor says they should all be fined. He's proposing $500 fines for those individuals. He also took things a step further and said that there could be some changes made to intersections as well throughout Milwaukee, either temporary barriers in place to prevent street takeovers or maybe more permanent measures for traffic in general, Haley.
I know, obviously, as you were mentioning, Mayor Cavalier Johnson has been wanting these fines implemented for a while now. What has the Common Council said about these ideas?
Well, Alderman Scott Spiker, who is on the Public Safety Committee, also spoke at this meeting today, and he kind of downplayed the idea of going after the spectators. He says the real problem is social media. If you're not familiar, a lot of these street takeovers are spontaneous events, pop-ups, if you will, is how the police chief, Jeffrey Norman, described them, because they aren't necessarily planned in advance. These are things that are taking place really spur of the moment, where someone gets on social media and says, hey, we're going over to 76th, for example, and Good Hope, and take over the intersection like you see behind me here. This was one area that was the scene of a street takeover just this past weekend.
And Brett, I know you were talking about those videos that I'm sure many of our viewers have seen. We've certainly shown them a lot on Fox 6 and on Fox Local. But I mean, it's almost like something out of a movie when you see these clips of fireworks in intersections, of donuts, of fire. I mean, this is really a safety issue. Have we heard from people who live nearby these street takeovers about how dangerous this can be?
Yeah, it definitely is a safety issue, and that is something that police and the city made very clear this morning during their press conference, although they did say, thankfully, no one has died, no one has been seriously hurt in any of these incidents, but the police chief said it's really only a matter of time when you see those videos. We did speak with one Milwaukee resident just a little while ago who actually is an Uber driver here in Milwaukee, and he says he's actually been caught up in some of these street takeovers while he's been on some of his routes throughout the evening. He actually downplayed some of these and said that it's very easy to maneuver around them. He wasn't that concerned. He was very upset by the proposal to fine individuals that may be spectators in these types of incidents, because he said he's been in situations where he has no choice. He's been blocked in traffic and can't move, and he worries that that could be considered, that he could be considered a spectator in a situation like that because he can't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting, thought that's being brought up there of what if you don't plan to be there? It's just wrong place, wrong time, and now I have a $500 fine. I can certainly see why people are for this and why people are against this. I guess, Brett, the big question is, where do we go from here? What's kind of next with this situation?
Well, the Common Council is going to be taking this up in some way, shape, or form in an upcoming meeting. But the district attorney said that his office will prosecute any individuals to the fullest extent that they're able to. In fact, he went as far as to say, Kent Lovern, he went as far as to say that he's dedicated one of his ADAs to these types of cases. So there is someone in the district attorney's office who will be reviewing these types of cases, and they will continue to prosecute. And Jeffrey Norman, the police chief, said no matter how long these incidents continue to persist, his officers will be deployed to these areas. They're really asking for the public's help to call 911 and report these incidents if people do see them happening in their neighborhoods, in their communities. By and large, it seems like for the most part, most of those 20 some odd incidents that took place aren't necessarily in quote unquote neighborhoods, but they certainly have a community impact throughout Milwaukee, Haley.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's obviously a situation that here at Fox 6 we will continue to cover and bring you guys the very latest. Thanks so much, Brett, for taking the time to join us on the Wisconsin Live Desk with your story.
Thank you.
Again, that was the latest on the Milwaukee street takeovers. As Brett mentioned, we saw more than 20 of those happen just last weekend, and they can be, I mean, frightening scenes. I know I mentioned the video, Brett mentioned the videos that have popped up on social media of fireworks and donuts and fire. So hopefully this weekend is quieter on that front of the street takeovers. Obviously, Mayor Cavalier Johnson, the police chief, very much voicing their concerns and their frustrations and very much saying these need to stop. But again, if you pop up on one of these, if you see something happening, as Brett just mentioned, they're asking you to call 911 to report it. These can be a very dangerous situation. So we will continue to follow that. Obviously, Common Council is the next step there, and we'll see if those fines, if they do pop up for being a spectator, being a witness or not. Obviously, it is not it's kind of a murky situation there, as Brett was mentioning, of what if you just are in the wrong place in the wrong time. So it's definitely a story we'll continue to follow here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and at Fox 6. And hopefully it's a quieter weekend again on the Milwaukee street takeover front. Certainly right now, the roads are quiet. It is 1:39, so not too much going on as far as traffic. If you do have any errands to run, now would probably be a good time to do it. You are going to want to grab a jacket. You just saw Brett wearing one. You could hear the wind a little bit there too in his live shot because it is chilly. It is 61 degrees right now, but it is beautiful as well. I mean, at least it's not raining, right? We have the sun shining. We have those clouds in the sky here in Milwaukee. Again, we are monitoring a few other things on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're waiting for an intake hearing. We're waiting potentially to hear some new information out of a Sheboygan disturbance that involved a gun. What we know right now in that one, again, is that police are calling it a critical incident, that one person is in custody. And we know that 3 people, including a young child, were hurt in that critical incident. So we're working to learn a lot more on several stories, as well as we're going to hear from Tosa Fest on what you can expect from that event this weekend. We are going to just take another quick break, and we'll be back with more news in just a little bit. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk this Friday afternoon. Time check for you, 1:43. Again, coming up at 2, we should be hopefully learning some more details about Tosa Fest. If you've been looking for something to do tonight or tomorrow, obviously it's happening here in Wauwatosa in the Milwaukee area. But we do have some news happening out of Minneapolis. We were just hearing actually from one of the Annunciation school shooting survivors' family on her recovery efforts. Now we are hearing from faith leaders who are calling for an assault weapon ban after that Annunciation mass shooting that saw the lives taken from an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, both Harper and Fletcher. So we are going to listen into this as they have a call to action in Minneapolis.
Your feet to make this change. We are powerful. Know it, live it, understand it, and make them make that change right now. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can do it. Don't ever assume that the money can stop you. It can't. Like I said, remember that lone Baptist preacher who kept talking about love and nonviolence when people thought he was silly for not defending himself, when people said it will never work, when people said it's not going to work, please remember, just know, he did not have the same power. He did not have as much money. He was going against the crosswinds of saying no change, too fast, slow down. And yet, because of love and nonviolence, we made a change in this nation. We can do that again. This is a moral moment. Take the moral moment. Do it. I know you can do it. You can do it. Do not accept the cynicism. Do not accept the words. Do not accept that they are too powerful. Don't let that stop you. Keep going. We can do this. We will make our schools, our churches, and our streets safe. And I will see you out there. I will see you in those schools. I will see you in those churches. I will see you in those streets, because we are not stopping. We will not stop until we know that our children and our babies are safe. God bless you. Get to work. I'll see you out there.
Well, feeling a bit in awe of all of you that showed up. That's the hope. You all are the hope we have. I'm Debbie Manning. I'm a pastor at a church in Minneapolis called The Table. We're community practicing the ways of Jesus by creating space for all to belong and all to be loved. And this past week, while all our hearts were breaking, and I kept hearing words from people like, I can't believe it. But it occurred to me that yes, we can believe it, because this kind of gun violence has been going on for decades. It's been going on for decades. But this time it was a little bit too close to home, wasn't it?
Yes.
And our children and our teachers and our families and our community, our lives have been shattered and they are changed forever. And I come here today and I speak to you as a mom and a grandma and a neighbor and a pastor. And as a mom this week, I watched my adult children try to explain to their little ones as they prepared for grade school how 2 children got killed in a shooting while they sat at church. As a grandma, I helped walk my kids to school this week in Minneapolis. Just yesterday, 2 of my granddaughters started kindergarten. And I watched the parents and the children with fear and uncertainty say goodbye to each other. There were tears from parents as they kissed their children goodbye. Because this year, guess what, everybody? It looks just a little bit different. Because the reality is that we are not safe. Our children are not safe in our schools. Something we pretended for a long, long time. And as a pastor, That night of the shooting, we opened our doors because we tried to figure out what do we do, and we created space for people to just be, whether that was to be sad and grieving or angry or frustrated. But we gathered because we knew that the one thing we had was each other as we tried to walk through this nightmare. And as a neighbor on the day of the shooting, my husband and I walked 2 doors down. And as we hugged our 10-year-old neighbor who sat in the church at Annunciation that day, and as she told us what it felt like to hear those gunshots, and she said, I thought I was in a dream, and then I realized it was gunshots. And then my heart raced, and I panicked, and I ran out, and that little girl got out safely, but her best friend that just was on the wrong side of the church across the aisle is the little girl that died. This is wrong. This should not be happening. And as people of faith, or not faith, people who just believe in the dignity of human beings, as people of faith and as a pastor of a church that's committed to practicing the ways of Jesus, we cannot stay silent in the face of this suffering. This moment is a call to action by all of us collectively. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. And our calling is not only to pray, but to act in ways that make peace possible. Woo! Amen. Woo! So many of you here have been fighting this fight for a long time, for decades. Thank you. But it's time. It's time for the rest of us to step up and step in. We need to stand together and demand change. Because military-style guns designed to kill quickly and massively, they do not belong in our neighborhoods, they do not belong in our schools, and they do not belong in the hands of civilians. They are weapons. They are weapons of war, not tools of peace. And when we allow them into our communities, we're complicit in a cycle of violence that destroys the very lives that God calls us to protect. And let's be clear, this is not about taking away rights. This is about taking responsibility. It's about protecting the most vulnerable among us, our children. In Scripture, over and over again, God calls us to care for the least of these. I can't think of anything more urgent than safeguarding the lives of children in the classroom, of children in their places of worship. So gun regulation, including a ban on assault weapons, is not only a political issue, it's a moral issue, it's a faith issue. And to practice the ways of Jesus is to choose life, to put down the sword, to seek mercy and justice, and to create communities where all belong, all are beloved, and all are safe. The prophet Micah in the Hebrew scriptures says this, what does the Lord require of me? To do justice, to love mercy, to walk humbly with our God, and to do justice. Friends, that's action. Our prayers must turn into action, and our grief must move us to courage. To honor the lives that have been lost, we must step up and speak out. And we must do that, speaking out for stronger laws, for safer communities, for the days when weapon of wars will no longer have the last word. We must work and pray that that day when our children can learn peace instead of fear, when classrooms are sanctuaries of growth, not places of violence. This is our holy calling. We must be peacemakers. We must be protectors of life. We must be people who choose the way of life, not the ways of death. Yes. Amen. Amen.
thank you to our children for being here. I was so moved when you walked in, so thank you for coming. But I also want to share with you that we're sorry. It was 1999, and I lived in Denver, Colorado when Columbine. Before you were born, before my first child was born, in 1999, and our country stopped. Like completely, all of us remember where we were. And it was close to home. Sandy Hook. To talk about an assault weapons ban was not even controversial in the beginning. Even some of our Republican politicians started to maybe talk about it a little bit. And as far as for our population, it was a 90-10 issue, not even controversial. Not controversial at all. How many issues do we have in our country that are 90-10? It tells you why they're not banned. The reason they're not banned is if we look where the power is, where the money is being made. There's so much money being made. That's our issue comes to that. And in my tradition, and unfortunately we use this so often for stewardship campaigns, so I think we water it down. But it means so much more, where we say, where our treasure is, that's where our heart is. And so I ask our politicians, I ask our senators and our representatives, what do we treasure? Where's your heart? And it's a theological way of really asking, what are our values? What do we value? One of my favorite, I'm a Presbyterian pastor. I'm from Spirit of Life Presbyterian Church, and one of my favorite Presbyterian pastors of all time is Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers has so much to teach us. And in tragedies, one of the hard things...
You are just joining us. We have been listening into this press conference out of Minnesota where you can see faith leaders calling for an assault weapon ban. This follows the devastating school shooting at Annunciation Catholic School a couple of weeks ago now, where a shooter opened fire during Mass on the first day of school, hurting so many children and taking the lives of two, 8-year-old Fletcher and 10-year-old Harper. We were actually hearing from one of the survivors of this shooting, their family, maybe about half an hour ago at this point, and they shared their memories of Harper and Fletcher, just saying both of them were incredible children who were warm, welcoming, kind, generous. And so we are hearing again from faith leaders here calling for change, wanting to see this be the final and last school shooting. Again, this happening out of Minnesota. We are still monitoring a few other things here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are waiting for the initial court appearance from a 22-year-old Milwaukee woman who was accused of smashing a DoorDash driver's car after a failed food delivery in July. That will be 22-year-old Janiyah Jones. Again, she is charged with criminal damage to property and a misdemeanor disorderly conduct. She has not made that appearance yet. Obviously, your Fox 6 crew is there, and if and when she does, if it happens before 2:30, we will certainly bring that to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We have also been monitoring a situation out of Sheboygan this afternoon, what police are calling a, quote, critical incident. Still a lot of information to learn on this one. We do know one person is in custody. The Sheboygan police have told us that, and investigators say 3 people, including a young child, were hurt in this incident. We just learned we should get some new information at 2:30. So, of course, stick with Fox Local and Fox 6 as we get you the latest information out of Sheboygan. We are still kind of looking ahead to this weekend, what you can potentially do. We'll talk a little bit about Tosa Fest coming up. We'll check in with where you can find the Brewers this weekend. All sorts of other stories still to come here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, as well as the latest after some protests and counter-protests in Milwaukee this morning relating to police pay. Our very own Jason Calvi is still going to join us in about 15 minutes. So we still have 32 minutes of the Wisconsin Live Desk for you this Friday afternoon, and still got a lot of news to bring you. So stick with us. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday, it is 2 p.m., and we still have 30 minutes of news for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. My name is Haley Spittler. I'll be hanging out with you for the rest of this 30 minutes as we have a lot to get to. Momentarily, we should be learning a little bit more about Tosa Fest happening in Wauwatosa this weekend, which is so exciting. First, I'm going to take you out to AmFam, which the roof is open and it is beautiful, but the Brewers, they're not here. They're actually in Pittsburgh. They're taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight at 5:40. A little National League division game right there. Obviously, the Brewers are kind of unstoppable right now. They are up 5.5 games over the Cubs in first place for the National League. It's definitely been a good time to be a member of the Brew Crew if you are a member of the Brew Crew. I'm personally a Cubs fan. I'm excited to go out to the game tomorrow, but I kind of wish I was at the game right now. I think last check they are up 6-0 as of the second inning for the Chicago Cubbies. So whether you're a Cubs fan or a Brewers fan, lots of good baseball action here happening this weekend. As I mentioned, there's something else happening this weekend that I think you're going to want to know all about, and that is Tosa Fest happening in Wauwatosa. We're being joined live right now with Maria, who's there in Wauwatosa as they're setting up. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, Maria.
Of course, happy to be here and happy to show you what's all going on. It's pretty exciting, and we have this most incredible weather day today.
I know it is beautiful outside. You've got a breeze. It's not too hot. As you mentioned, the setup's happening. So what can we expect from Tosa Fest?
Well, thankfully, we have this gorgeous weather. Like I said, I'd highly recommend a sweatshirt tonight because I do think the temperature is going to drop a little bit. We've got live music on 3 different stages, lots of food, lots to drink. Beyond that, we've got a whole vendor marketplace for people to shop. We open up at 5 and we'll be open till 11 tonight. And then tomorrow, 11 to 11.
Obviously, you know, Wauwatosa has been making all sorts of headlines recently. Unfortunately, just dealing with so much flood damage from the floods last month. Certainly a lot of recovery efforts. I mean, was there ever a question of if Tosa Fest was going to be able to still happen? And I mean, how good does it feel to be here today knowing it's going to happen?
It's a great feeling knowing it's going to happen, but honestly, we never had a doubt that it was going to happen. We planned this event literally year round, so we knew we could make it happen. It was just a matter of who would all be open, and thankfully, everyone is open for business. And the last few weeks, I will be honest, it's looked more like a ghost town. I don't think people realize that we were ready to serve them already. So I'm excited to see it busy, and especially with this weather, I feel like we're going to have a full house.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I have just moved back to Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago. I've heard the best things about Wauwatosa. I can't wait to get out and to explore. I can do that tonight starting at 5 p.m. So what's on the lineup today?
Like I said, lots of live music. We have bands on all 3 stages. We also have a fish fry tonight, which I think there are still some tickets available. You can go online on wauwatosavillage.org and buy tickets for that. Lots of different experiences tomorrow. Wreath making class. We've got things with flowers, cheese curd eating contest that happens tomorrow. I mean, so many fun things that you can do beyond simply just coming and grabbing some food and a drink and enjoying yourself.
Absolutely. Obviously, we were looking at your setup behind you. Now we're taking a look at some photos of just Tosa Fest, which just looks like, I mean, the best time for anyone of any age. Do you have a favorite part about Tosa Fest?
Honestly, the music is pretty great because you get 3 totally different vibes between the stages. We have a really eclectic stage over by Wire and Vice, which is on the westernmost side. Main stage, I feel like that's where the most of the dancing happens. And then right in the center, Root Common, which is this beautiful park where you'll also see the experience tent, a whole different lineup of music. I mean, I just personally love coming to a festival and listening to live music. It doesn't get much better than that to me.
Oh, absolutely. Live music, a drink in your hand. It's always a fun time. I just pulled up the schedule for tomorrow because Tosa Fest also happening all day tomorrow from 11 to 11. You've got some fun things here. I mean, tell me about this. It looks like a volleyball tournament and a chili and cupcake contest.
Yes, lots of fun things tomorrow. That volleyball tournament is pretty great because it's right behind where we are here. And that was one of the things we didn't know if it was going to happen simply because of the flood damage. So I'm excited that we're able to have that. And also you get a t-shirt if you're a participant in that, which is pretty cool, and a drink ticket for one of our bars.
I also
we
feel,
also have these incredible TOSA Strong t-shirts. They were part of the fundraiser that we're doing for any employee that has experienced, obviously not being able to work while the flood recovery was happening. And those will be for sale here at the market.
I just think it's, the perfect time really to have TOSA Fest and to remind everyone how resilient this community can be, how they continue to recover from the floods. I love that you're continuing to help out people who maybe missed out on a paycheck, missed out on the ability to work because of that damage. Okay, I can't believe I almost missed this, Maria. A cheese curd eating contest? Tell me more.
Yes. Sorry, I thought I told you about that. I think there are still some spots open for that. It's only 15 people. I highly encourage checking that out. It's a matter of, consumption, but I promise you they are absolutely delicious. And that takes place over by our Wire and Vice stage. So that's over on the westernmost part of our footprint. Really fun.
Yes, absolutely. And then I also want to pull up one more of these photos because if you're somebody who loves Oktoberfest, I feel like we can kind of get a taste of Oktoberfest at TOSA Fest as well.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Got a taste at TOSA Fest as well. What was that first part?
Oh, Oktoberfest. If you love Oktoberfest.
Yes, so incredible. Up by Root Common. It is so cool. They have it set up. It looks very German, of course. And I apologize. A train is coming through right now, so it might be a little loud.
No, this is just...
Oktoberfest is pretty great. Lots of special beer available over there. And I'm almost positive that they have pretzels.
Oh, yum. Okay, I love food. I love hanging out with my friends, and I love live music. So I think TOSA Fest is the place to be. Maria, thank you so much for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk today.
Thank you for having us. And please come out, say hello, and we're excited to have you.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to be so much fun. Again, as a reminder, TOSA Fest kicks off tonight at 5, goes until 11 p.m. If you miss it tonight, you got all day tomorrow. It's going to be again from 11 to 11 tomorrow. That's when that cheese curd eating contest is, which is so exciting. Oh, they also have a Stein holding contest. You can design your own lantern. You guys, you need to pull up the schedule. It is jam-packed. And what a good way to support Wauwatosa and just this village that has been so resilient, that is still having TOSA Fest, even though they were very much dealing with those floodwaters last month, seeing a lot of damage from that. But they're ready to open up, and they need you to come out and to support them and have a blast at TOSA Fest. I think I'm going to be doing that myself tonight. I've got my friend coming over. We're going to hit up TOSA Fest. I'm excited for that. Well, we still have a lot of headlines to bring you. We've got about 22 more minutes of the Wisconsin Live Desk. So I'm going to monitor a few things, and we will be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. We've got about 20 more minutes of news for you this Friday afternoon. If you're just tuning in, you missed our live interview out of Wauwatosa, because Tosa Fest is back this weekend, starts tonight at 5, going until 11 p.m., and then it picks back up tomorrow from 11 to 11. Their schedule is just jam-packed with things to do for any age, really. They've got kids' activities, adult activities, anything and everything, whatever you're interested in. There's something for you at Tosa Fest. Here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, we've also been monitoring a few different situations. One thing we are still waiting on is this initial court appearance for the Milwaukee woman who is accused of smashing a DoorDash driver's car after a failed food delivery in July. That is 22-year-old Janiyah Jones. She is charged with criminal damage to property and a misdemeanor disorderly conduct. She has not made that initial appearance yet. Obviously, our crew is there, and if that happens in the next 18 minutes, we'll try and get it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We've also been monitoring this call to action out of Minnesota to ban assault weapons. We've heard from faith leaders. Now we're hearing from, I think, some younger members of the community who are really just, again, calling for an assault weapon ban after the Annunciation school shooting a couple of weeks ago out of Minneapolis that saw 2 lives lost and many other students hurt. We are going to briefly listen into this and see if we can learn more.
Is a variety of different things. If there's a school shooting, I'm going to be tearing it up and using it as bandages and sutures and stuffing for bullet wounds. I'm going to be using it to cover up bodies after they've been killed. I've got an Altoid tin of basic stuff, simple bandages, lighter, pocket knife to help people when they need it. My heart goes out for everyone who has been affected. My heart goes out to everyone who has been killed or shot or wounded in general. Thank you very much.
We would love to hear from all of you, but we just simply can't in this forum. But know this, someone in your life needs to hear from you. You have something to say. Say it, and keep saying it. In moral change in a nation, it's often said that it seems impossible until it happens, and then it felt inevitable. This is an issue, banning assault rifles, that someday everyone will say, I was against that. You're in the front on that. Help us in this country. Help the legislators that will meet in this building to make the laws for this state to do what they need to do. There should be no summer recess for these legislators. They need to get in here. Summer is over. You're back to school. It's time for them to get to work. We're going to end our time. I would invite you to put your hand on your heart. Let this rotunda become as quiet as it can. And look around this space. Make eye contact with someone. See them. Know that they see you. Even when we are silent, our hearts beat. Even when we are silent, we are together. Raise your voice and stay together. On behalf of Moms Demand Action, and vote common good. We thank you, we thank the press for being at this event, for covering this. It matters to us, it matters to our country, and it matters to the legislators in this state. Thank you. Stay as long as you like.
Well, if you are just tuning in, we were listening there out of Minneapolis as faith leaders and moms to action called there for a ban on assault weapons. Of course, that happens after the Annunciation school shooting just last month out of Minneapolis that saw 2 lives lost and many other children hurt. Saying there, how many more school shootings need to happen? When will that fear end? And again, they were calling on a ban to assault weapons there out of Minneapolis. Here in Milwaukee, it's been a very busy news day. We saw protests and counter-protests earlier this morning in relation to Milwaukee Police Association asking for contract negotiations, and then those counter-protesters wanting their voice heard as well. I want to bring in our very own Jason Calvi. He has been on this story. Jason, what do we need to know about this?
So the contract dispute's been going on for several years. The last contract ran out at the end of 2022. So here we are, 2023, 2024, we're in 2025. So it's been a 3-year fight over pay for Milwaukee police officers. This is the Milwaukee Police Association. It represents rank and file officers as well as detectives here in Milwaukee. And they are asking for a pay raise. They want a much larger pay raise than what the city's offering. And they're actually been fighting over this, as I mentioned, for years and months, and now it's to the point where it's going to go to arbitration later this month. Today was the date that the union said would be the last day that they could get a deal from the city before going to arbitration. The arbitration set for middle of September, and they wanted to have that deal in place so today, so that they can there's a 7-day cooling off period, and then they could bring it to their members to vote on ratification, confirming and accepting the deal. But there was no deal. There's no deal. They came in this park here. This is Red Arrow Park, and there's actually dueling protests. So inside this park was the Milwaukee Police Association, police officers, and then another group called Block, that's Black Leaders Organizing Communities. They were protesting pay raises for Milwaukee police officers. And so that's what you saw. I said dueling police protests outside, and then both groups went inside City Hall. And you saw dueling protests on the different levels of City Hall. On the first level, you saw the Block organizers, Black Leaders Organizing Communities. And then on the second floor, you saw the Milwaukee Police Union. The police union was walking around the second floor, and they weren't really doing any chants, but then the members of Block were on the first floor, and they were doing chants. We're going to show all this with you. We're going to share all the audio. We're going to hear from both sides, and we're going to talk to the mayor. That's coming up tonight at 4 on Fox 6 News.
Jason, I know during the 11 you were kind of setting the scene for us, showing us those 2 floors and describing these kind of dueling protests. Catch me up to speed just a little bit here. What exactly does MPA want, and what is Milwaukee offering them right now?
So I have the numbers here on my phone. The Milwaukee Police offers, the MPA wants a 12.75% pay raise. That's divided up amongst the years here. So again, we're still talking about the contract that's going on right now. There is no police contract right now. So what we're dealing with, what both sides are fighting about, is a contract that would run out at the end of 2025. So we're talking about a contract that looks back from 2023, 2024, and then the current year we're in 2025. And so both sides are millions of dollars apart from what each side is wanting. The city says they can't, the mayor says that they've given a competitive offer. We have compared the salary ranges for officers in Milwaukee versus in other municipalities and local municipalities, so I can share those numbers with you now as well on my phone. Let me pull that up here. So for example, the Milwaukee police range for police officers, the lowest pay is $63,000 in Milwaukee, and the highest pay is $84,000 for your rank and file officer in Milwaukee. Now, if you compare that with Whitefish Bay, the highest pay there is about $10,000 more. Whitefish Bay's highest salary is $94,000 for the patrol officers. Waukesha goes up to $88,000. Shorewood goes up to $92,000. Menominee Falls is $93,000. West Allis, their top pay, $94,000. So you can see right now Milwaukee's pay range is not as high as what we're seeing in some of the neighboring suburban communities. What MPA, what the Police Association, what the police union wants here is they want to have the officers here be the highest paid in the state. So they're really asking for that 12.75% increase, and they say that would get them to be the highest paid in the state. And they say, why should they be the highest paid in the state? Because they say they take the most calls, they're the most put in danger. We've seen a number of police officers killed in the line of duty here in Milwaukee in recent years. And I spoke with Officer Peter Jervine, who died several years ago in the line of duty. I spoke with his mother today. She joined the protest, and she said the city really should be paying police officers in Milwaukee more than what they're currently paying.
Jason, I know you've also looked into some of the salaries of other elected city leaders. Did anything stand out to you there in those numbers?
Well, I can tell you back in 2024, the Common Council did approve and the mayor did approve pay raises for them, but they hadn't had a pay raise since 2008. So they were static, they had static salaries for many, many years. And then in 2024, they did give themselves a pay raise of 15% pay raise for elected officials here in Milwaukee. That's the Common Council, as well as the mayor got a 15% boost, but it was the first boost in their pay since 2008. So let me show you what the numbers look like for the various members of elected bodies here. So the salary for the Common Council members in Milwaukee was $73,000, and that was static, again, like I said, since 2008.
Yeah.
Then in 2024, because of the ordinance that they passed to give themselves a pay raise, that went up to $84,000. And I should mention, I said they gave themselves a pay raise. Well, technically, they can't give themselves a pay raise until the following term after an election. So they voted for the raise in the spring, or actually in the winter, the early part of 2024, and then that went into effect starting with the elections that they won in 2024 of April. So again, you can't give yourself a pay raise, but technically they were able to give themselves a pay raise that went into effect after they won their elections in April.
Well, Jason, it's very obviously that you have been working on this story. You've done a lot of research. There's a lot of numbers with it, and I know you are busy. You are in all of our shows coming up soon, so I do not want to keep you too busy, but thank you for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and breaking down kind of these dueling protests that we saw earlier this morning in Milwaukee.
Thanks, Haley.
Yeah, absolutely. That's again our very own Jason Calvi there, digging into the numbers for us, doing all sorts of research as he was describing those dueling protests for both the Milwaukee Police Association and those counter protesters. I'm sure he'll have plenty more coming up for you here on Fox Local. We still have more coming up for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are going to take another break, and then we'll be back. I think we might have to talk High School Musical again. Just a little tease there. All right, we'll be right back after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk as we round out today's 2 hour of news for you. I'm Haley. It has been a very informative couple of hours. We've learned so much about events happening in Milwaukee. We are still monitoring some news out of Sheboygan that you should stay tuned to Fox Local this afternoon to learn more about. But again, this critical incident where Sheboygan police tell us one person is in custody and 3 people, including a young child, were hurt in the accident. We also continue to monitor this initial court appearance of a Milwaukee woman accused of smashing a DoorDash driver's car after a failed food delivery in July. She was slated, this is 22-year-old Janiyah Jones, to go through at 1:15. Obviously, they're not there yet, so stay tuned to Fox Local. She's charged with criminal damage to property and misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Our crew is there, and we will get you that news later today as that happens. But in Milwaukee, it is chilly. If you were just here with us, we're talking to Jason Calvey. We actually watched him beforehand go back to his car and grab his jacket because it's some nice fall temperatures out there, and it's very windy. You can see a high there of 62 today, a low of 46, and very similar temperatures, or I guess that's tomorrow, and then very similar temperatures on Sunday. And if you're looking for something to do tomorrow, you might want to go to this. We were talking about it earlier. We have to bring it up again. The Free Falls Family Movie Night at Village Park. They are showing, dare I say, one of the best movies of all time, the High School Musical. This is at 6 p.m. tomorrow. There's a beer and wine garden. There is food trucks, popcorn, lawn games, and 150 free youth t-shirts. I was trying to think what my favorite song in High School Musical, just the first movie, would be. It's a toss-up between Start of Something New and Breaking Free, I think, which is kind of the first song and one of the last songs. Delaney, what you got? What's your favorite song from High School Musical?
I was going to say Breaking Free.
Yes, underrated song. People always go for We're All in This Together, which I could do that choreography too, but I'm going to go for Breaking Free because, yeah, that is just, we're so... All right, that's all I'm going to sing because I don't think we own the rights to that one. But again, that's happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. If your kids have never seen High School Musical, it's time to introduce them to the Disney Classic. If you've never seen it, go out because there's that beer and that wine garden. And again, it's going to be really nice weather for that. Not too hot, not too cold, just those classic fall temperatures here in Milwaukee. It should be a very good weekend for you. We hope you have a good one. We'll be back on the Wisconsin Live Desk on Monday at 12:30. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
$8 million times a year. Are you surprised by the scale of this?
I think all of us are surprised by the scale of this.
Someone boards a Milwaukee County bus without paying.
They know they're supposed to pay. They know how to pay. They just don't pay. And